So, with all of that, I learned about the programming that we hold that are instilled onto us. And, I also learned that parents, other people, older people, they are also programmed, right? So, that's how I came to give them grace, because they're being programmed themselves, right? So we forgive them because they know not what they do, type of scenario. So I've learned about the programming of the titles that we use in society today as humanity that sometimes we have to detach from in order to heal. And some of the most difficult ones are like mother, father, brother, cousin, aunt, friend, things like that. Those titles, they hold weight because we want to have like the perfect family picture, have family for the holidays, right? But then again, in cases like my case where it's been pure torture, right? And things continue to only get worse, then at one moment I had to choose, like, do I choose to continue to be in this cycle and go down a hole, or do I choose to honor myself and do something different for me, even if that means letting go of everything that I knew to be family, right? And so-called friends and even co-workers, because since I come from a karmic family that practices dark magic, all of those areas were affected in my life because that was a plan. When these people try to sacrifice you, they will attack all areas of your life, all of your stability. And they'll start with, like, your mind, your finances, your relationships, because they want to isolate you in such a way that you either end up doing the job yourself, or two, uh, they could get it done either through the physical realm or through the spiritual realm. But in order for anything to work in the spiritual realm, they have to do psychological magic, mental magic, in order for that to work. And that the way that they do that is by deteriorating every aspect that a human being needs in order to survive, right? So I had to learn about deprogramming from that and understand that sometimes we come into people's life either to learn a lesson from them or to teach them a lesson, right? And then that gave me comfort in my understanding. And then also I learned about understanding the spirits that are operating in people and separating the person from the spirit, right? And so because I was able to work on those two things and apply it to my life, then it was easier. Well, it gave me comfort in the decision that I was making to move forward without them, because I had to choose myself, right? So then the same thing with karmic friends, right? So if you're in a situation with a karmic friend, you're usually either gaining an experience, right? And learning the lesson from it, or giving an experience and having them learn the lesson from it. But we don't have to stay there. We don't have to stay in the situation because of titles. We can remove ourselves and move on, because suffering is not part of our birthright. And our role here is to evolve and grow and gain experiences. And so, although my experiences have been very hard, you know, and it's a lot of work to heal, they are very meaningful experiences because I can speak about them and teach about them and help others evolve from those experiences as well that are not so common. So it's like a lot of fruits of experiences, even though at the moment I didn't look at it like that. And even sometimes when I speak about the actions that we're taking, the things that were done, it still gives me, when I reflect, it gives me that moment of like, oh my God, you went through so much. God, did you see all of that? Right? Then I have to bring myself back to understanding that they're experiences and I have them and I've learned from them. And I don't have to live in where, like in the past, where, oh my God, this happened to me and blah, 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 blah. No, it did happen. I learned from it, right? And that also doesn't mean that I want to go back and repeat it again, right? That's not an option for me. Yes, I learned from the experience. I gained the knowledge, the wisdom out of it. I could apply it. I could help other people with it. But by no means do I want to go ahead and put myself in that cycle again, because I would only bring myself backwards. So once we identify that we're in a cycle, that we're going through something, and that we've gathered all the lessons that we needed to gather out of that, then that's when we move to another cycle, to another experience, because it's just gonna keep repeating. You've gained everything that you needed to gain from it, and or you taught whatever you needed to taught. That could, or even with the workplace, right? If you've gained all the knowledge you gain, or something keeps happening in the workplace that is the same way over and over and over and over again, then that's your sign to do something different and get the hell out, right? So I just wanted to touch base on that. I hope this helped.